The story of Tekken starts from Jinpachi Mishima, a legendary martial artist from Japan and the founder of the Mishima Zaibatsu. He had a son, Heihachi Mishima. Jinpachi trained his son harshly, and so Heihachi gained great power. Heihachi later brings a woman named Kazumi to marry her, but Jinpachi objects to their marriage. However, persuaded by Wang Jinrei, an old friend of Jinpachi's, the two get married. Before long, Kazuya Mishima was born. Young Kazuya grew up with Jinpachi's love, but even before Kazuya became old enough, his mother, Kazumi, passes away. Heihachi revolts against his father, Jinpachi, and becomes the new leader of the Mishima Zaibatsu. Jinpachi gets locked up under the Mishima dojo and waits for his final moment to come. Heihachi also trained his son Kazuya very hard, just like his father did. He even threw Kazuya off the cliff when he was only 5 years old. Kazuya almost died, but the devil gene within him activated and managed to survive. Heihachi still wasn't satisfied with him, so he adopts a genius from China named Li Chaolang to make them rivals. Kazuya's hatred against his father grew day by day. Fortunately, or unfortunately, under this kind of situation, Kazuya became stronger and stronger. He even won the World Martial Arts Contest, and the only person who tied with Kazuya was an American martial artist, Paul Phoenix. To test his son again, Heihachi opens the first King of Iron Fist tournament, offering incredible amount of money as a prize. So, including Kazuya Mishima, who wants to conquer the world after taking his father down, the head of a group of Robin Hood-esque ninjas named the Manji clan, Yoshimitsu, Nina Williams, an assassin who is after Heihachi, martial law who has the dream of opening his own martial arts dojo, Paul Phoenix who wants to become the world's strongest martial artist, Jack, a Russian killing machine to kill Kazuya, King, a Catholic priest and also a pro wrestler who saves orphans from streets, and Michelle Chang who wants to take revenge on Mishima for her father's murder by Heihachi's men, gathers, and the first ever The King of Iron Fist tournament begins. Each characters have their own sub-bosses. Gunryu, a corrupt sumo wrestler hired by Heihachi, Anna Williams, who hates her sister Nina Williams, Wang Jinrei, an old friend of Jinpachi's, who believes that peace will come once the Mishima bloodline is ruined, Li Chaolan, who has never won against his older brother Kazuya, Heihachi's pet bear Kuma, prototype Jack built to fight against Jack, Armor King, interested in his rival King's participation, Kunimitsu, a former member of the Manji clan, who's after the treasure that Heihachi stole from the Native Americans. Anyway, the last fighters made to the finals after fierce battles were Kazuya and Paul. The two fights for hours and it ends with Kazuya's victory. Kazuya faces his father after defeating Paul Phoenix. At last, he manages to defeat Heihachi, and he throws his father off the same cliff just like what his father did to him. He does the famous killer smile, and the first tournament ends like this. Michelle couldn't go up to the finals, but she managed to protect the pendant from Kunimitsu. And Yoshimitsu defeated Gunryu and stole Gunryu's ill-gotten gains. Jack destroyed Prototype Jack. Martial Law and Wang Jinrei drawed. King won against his rival, Armor King, but placed third. Kazuya became the first King of Iron Fist. After taking over the Mishima Zaibatsu, he starts illegal businesses like smuggling arms, drug dealing, assassination, and gene manipulation. He dominates the world with his overwhelming power, and opens the second Tekken tournament in 2 years since the last one. As it's the second tournament, more fighters take part. A Hong Kong Interpol, Lei Wulong, while he was after mafias, he loses his partner in an airplane crash and finds out that the mafias were related to Kazuya Mishima. A Muay Thai kickboxer, Bruce Irvin, was paid to lose a fight in a Muay Thai tournament in Thailand, but decided otherwise and beat his opponent to death. He then lived life on the run as the bookie had paid someone to kill him. Then one day he eventually confronts the killer, as well as Lei Wulong's partner detective on a plane. The ensuing fight between the three caused a plane crash. Bruce almost died, but managed to survive from the accident. Later, he gets hired by Kazuya as his bodyguard. The youngest fighter ever to gain the Ozeki rank, Gunryu was a world-famous sumo wrestler. but his immoral behavior led to a dishonorable discharge and later gets hired by Kazuya also. Michelle Chang enters the tournament to rescue her mother kidnapped by Kazuya's men on account of the pendant. Nina Williams was given the task of assassinating Kazuya Mishima, but also she was planning to fulfill her personal agenda, a battle with her sister Anna. Roger and Alex, both genetically engineered by Dr. Boskonovich while under employment of the Mishima Zaibatsu, plans to escape from the Zaibatsu because Kazuya thought that Roger and Alex were worthless creations and wanted to kill them. Jun Kazama, an officer of the WWWC, a wildlife protection organization, tries to arrest Kazuya to protect genetically modified animals like Roger and Alex. In the previous Tekken tournament, Yoshimitsu lost his arm when he sneaked into Dr. Boskonovich's lab to steal his eternal energy device. Dr. Boskonovich helped Yoshimitsu escape and replaced his lost arm with a mechanical prosthetic arm. Yoshimitsu learned that Dr. Boskonovich, who once saved his life, had been abducted by Kazuya Mishima. He enters the second King of Iron Fist tournament to rescue Boskonovich. Kunimitsu is after Yoshimitsu's cursed sword, Yoshimitsu. Prototype Jack got destroyed by Jack in the previous Tekken tournament 2 years ago, but Boskonovich remade P-Jack from the remains of the first one and sent him to participate again. Jack 2, an upgrade of Jack, witnesses a young girl named Jane who lost her mother during a battle and looks after her. Li Chaolan had to work for Kazuya as his secretary since the Mishima Zaibatsu fell into his hands, but seeked revenge. Wang Jinrei tries to end the Mishima bloodline once again. Kuma, defeated by Paul in the previous tournament, trains hard to win against him. Paul looks to win the tournament this time. Paul's best buddy, Martial Law, finally got his own martial arts dojo. However, while he was away, his students got attacked by Baek-doo-san and he hears the news that Baek-doo-san is participating in the tournament. Baek-doo-san, a master of Taekwondo who accidentally killed his father during a sparring session in a young age, was raised under police protection after the traumatizing accident. However, a person knowing the truth about his father's death threatened to go public with the truth of his past and forced him to attack various dojos, including Marshall's. King failed to win the previous tournament and his orphanage went into financial trouble. He threw away his Jaguar mask and ran away in depression and anger when a child died in his care. He returned to the street and became a raging alcoholic. Armor King saw how his friend's life was crumbling apart and convinced him to return to the orphanage in order to take care of the kids who were still in need of him. Armor King also convinced him to go back to training for the King of Iron Fist tournament too. And after being thrown off the cliff in the previous tournament, Heihachi returns unscathed and tries to regain what he has lost by Kazuya. So the second King of Iron Fist tournament begins. This tournament's protagonist, Heihachi, defeats all of his opponents including Li Chaolan and makes up to the finals and confronts Kazuya. Heihachi spent his time meditating and training extensively to take revenge against Kazuya. He finally beats Kazuya, even in his devil form. After defeating Kazuya, Heihachi tosses Kazuya's body into a volcano this time, and becomes the second King of Iron Fist. Nina, after failing to assassinate Kazuya, was forced to become a test subject for cryogenic research by the Mishima Zaibatsu. Having heard the news that her sister became a test subject of Dr. Boskonovich's cold sleep, Anna, also into Dr. Boskonovich, subjected her to the cold sleep because she hated the fact that she would continue to age while her sister was frozen in time. Michelle rescued her mother after she rejected Ganryu. Yoshimitsu protected his sword from Kunimitsu and also successfully rescued Dr. Boskonovich. Prototype Jack 2 was destroyed again by Jack 2. Jack 2 rescued Jane from a bacteriological war, but while they were playing on a tropical island, Jack got destroyed by a satellite weapon of Dr. Abel's. Bruce Irvin got defeated by Lei Wulong, who had entered the tournament to arrest Kazuya. Marshall beat Baek-doo-san and finally had his revenge for his students. Kuma was beaten by Paul again, and Paul battled his way to the final round, however ended up getting stuck in traffic because of a multi-car accident on the expressway, and therefore unable to make the match on time. He was forced to forfeit. Li Chaolan was expelled from the Mishima Zaibatsu by Heihachi for taking Kazuya's side. Jun Kazama defeated Wang Jinrei and arranged for Roger and Alex to live out their lives in Australia, where they would be safe. She confronts Kazuya, and with her psychic ability, she realizes that Kazuya's supernatural strength stems from Devil. She wants to free Kazuya of his evil power. Kazuya became intimate with June. June then became pregnant by Kazuya, with a boy who she later names Jin Kazama. However, Kazuya was thrown to the volcano by his father, Heihachi Mishima, in the conclusion of the tournament. In June, Kazama fled to the forest of Yakushima, where she intended to raise her child away from evil and danger.